Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are visiting Disney California again, and this is I think they call it a character, like a meet and greet kind of thing. Yeah, that's not what they call it. I can't remember now. But anyway, we had the opportunity to be in a theater that had an interactive discussion with the character Crush from Finding Nemo, the big turtle that swims through the Pacific Ocean, migrates and stuff. He's a very laid back kind of dude. Anyway, this is the second time that we've had the opportunity to have a conversation with Crush, and the last time my son was really, really little and had some fun with that. So I will tell you more about that in a little bit. But for now, let's check out my desktop and get started on this layout. It's going to be cute, I think. Okay, so this is the page you'll recall we ended with the last time that we worked on the Disney album, and we're going to have some fun today with something a little bit different. Those of you who've been around Creative Memories for a while may recognize this Border Maker cartridge. It's called the Film Strip Border Maker cartridge, and I have had some fun using this in the past on pages that, like when we lived in New York City, when we lived in Brooklyn, and we went and saw many plays in Manhattan. I used this on those pages, and it was just really fun, even though those weren't films. But this particular layout that we're doing today actually does pertain to a lot of animation, and so I thought that it really would apply to this as well. But I thought I feel like this is too small for what I wanted to sort of convey. So we're going to make our own film strips out of these 2 pages. It'll look just like this, only it'll be blown up into 2 12 by 12 pages. So let me show you how we're going to do that. I am going to take 2 pieces of white cardstock, and I have 3 out here just in case I need an extra one, but I think 2 pieces should be sufficient. I'm going to take each one of these 12 by 12 pieces of white cardstock, and I'm going to trim them. I'm going to trim them to 7 1/4 inches, or in other words, I'm going to remove 4 1/2 inches off of each one. Okay, so I'm taking 4 1/2 inches off each one of those. All right. Now, in addition to that, I am also going to take a little bit off of each side, and I'm just going to take an inch, just an inch off of each of these pieces. Okay, so lining it up on the right hand side of my trimmer at the 1 inch mark. Those pages were stacked, so I only have to cut once. I like to try to be efficient that way when I can. All right, so that's all we're going to use our trimmer for at this juncture, unless maybe we might decide to mat some photos later. But for right now, that's all we're going to do. Then I'm going to take these large pieces that we have right here. Oh, it looks like I have an extra page out here too. Set that over there. All right, I'm going to take each one of these pieces and I'm going to round the corners. So use your CM corner rounder and just go in here and round these corners real quick. more, or 3 more, I should say. 3 more. So, I don't know about you, but sometimes if I don't get my paper lined up just right, my corner gets a little askew. What's happening there? 1 more and we are good to go. Okay, so those 2 pieces are good and ready. Now, these 2 remaining pieces that we cut off, the 4.5-inch pieces, we are going to use one of these. You can set the other one aside. We probably won't need it unless we decide, well, no, on this layout we are not going to need it. You can use it on something else. I'm going to turn my punch over so I can see where it's punching. And I'm going to cut 12 of these little squares. Each one of these little squares, each one of these punched squares is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches, which is just perfect for putting 6 across. Oh, you are going to need that other strip. I'm sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. But yes, you're going to need that other strip of white, because you're going to need 12 for each page. My bad. Okay, so there's 1. Toss that, grab that other strip that I had. Okay, now we're going to punch 6 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Done with our square punch. So I'm just going to set that up there. All right. Now you're going to take each one of these and you're going to put 6 across the top, 6 across the bottom. And I would definitely recommend that you use your repositionable adhesive, because you never know when you might need to adjust or move these. But essentially you're going to put them about 1/4 inch up from the bottom and 1/4 inch in from the side, and then you're going to put 1/4 inch between each one. And I like to do 1 on each end and work my way to the middle. I feel like I'm able to center things better that way. So if you don't agree, you certainly don't have to do it this way. But this is how I feel I am able to keep things balanced the best. And then of course, if you need to, you can move them around, but essentially that's all you need to do. Then we're going to turn it upside down and do 6 more on this side. So I think it was a few minutes ago when I was recording those introductions, but I think I recall mentioning something to you about telling you more about our first visit to see Crush, which admittedly was a long time ago. So it was in 2008 when we went to Disney World, and my son, our son, was only let's see, 6. He was 6 at the time. And so excited because Finding Nemo was like all the rage, and when he found out he could actually talk to Crush, he was just over the moon. Super excited. And so then so we went into the theater, and they had all the kids come and sit down front, right in front of what looked like a huge window into the ocean, is what it looked like. And every once in a while, little tiny schools of fish would swim by, and sea urchins were all over, and it just looked like someone stuck a camera on the bottom of the ocean floor. And all the parents, of course, sat behind the kids, and we were actually in chairs, kind of in a little, I don't think we were in like a theater. At Disneyland, we were in a theater, but I don't think we were in any kind of theater in Florida. Anyways, we were just sitting there, admiring the ocean and looking at, the fish that were swimming by every now and then, when all of a sudden this fun little microphone thing kind of dropped in, and you hear this sort of muted sound like something's just been submerged in water. And the next thing we knew, Crush swims into the picture frame from far away and says, "Cowabunga, dude, how's it going?" and whatever. And he starts talking to us. And after he talks for a little while, he asks if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask. And he says, raise your hand, and I'll try to get to you and try to answer some questions. Well, our little dude, Michael, he raised his hand so high, and Crush called on him and said, "What's your question?" And I should have known what was coming, because at the time, being 6, Michael's favorite thing in the world was to tell jokes. So he said, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" Oh, I'm sorry. We are going to go ahead and adhere these white pieces, the ones we already cut. Those are going to be centered right here in the middle. Anyways, so Michael says, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" And to which the turtle thought for a minute, Crush thought for a minute, and he says, he made a funny face, and he looked at the kids, and he said, "What's a chicken?" It was very funny. Anyways, maybe you had to be there, but it was just very funny. And it was a great thing my son will always remember. All right, so now we have our great big giant film strip, right? Okay, so the photos that are going to go on this page are from this emporium kind of place, and some of them I need to trim. But this place had these great big screens, and you can see the people down here, and the great big screens all over, and different places that you could queue up and go in to learn different things, meet different people, different characters. It was just all very, very cool stuff. And of course, we went and saw Crush because he's a family favorite. A family favorite. So, he needs to be front and center. Alright, so I need to trim a couple of these photos real quick. This one's gonna make a 4x4. You can just tell it's screaming, "Make me a 4x4." Right? Sometimes you just look at pictures and you can just tell what size they need to be. I have a child's. Yes!
Are you still recording?
Yes. Okay. All right, this one is going to be more like a 3-inch. As long as we don't cut Buzz's head off there, I'll just allow just a smidge more. There we go. And then, let's see, this one we'll cut down just a little because we don't need all of that in the frame. This one I think we'll leave because there's enough interesting stuff there. This one I think we'll make a 3.5 by 6. This long line, I'm not really sure what this long line was for, but I think it was going into this character close-up thing, and I don't know what that was about exactly. But people were apparently excited about it. And they had movies playing, so it was a great place to go and just kind of hide out from the heat if you were hot. I mean, we were not hot. This was November in Southern California. It was not. I'm just gonna trim this one up so that it's a little more framed. It was not hot where we were. But if you were having a hot day, this would have been a great place to go hang out. So the "and they lived happily ever after" is actually right inside the doorway as you walk into this area. And super, super cute. It is interesting. I mean, we are not huge Walt Disney World people. Like, we've been to Walt Disney World once. We were raised in Southern California, so we're more comfortable at Disneyland. But being in the military and living all over the place, we never lived in, because we were in the Army, we never lived anywhere close to Disneyland. So that was a kind of a foreign thing for my kids. They only experienced Disney World that one time, and my older kids went to Disneyland Paris but they were kind of little still. They were under 10, so they were, you know, their memories of that are long faded. They would have to look at one of my scrapbooks in order to remember what we did there. So it may seem kind of crazy for me to say that we're not big time Disney people when you hear that we've been to Disneyland Paris. But we lived in Europe for 3.5 years, so of course we went to Disneyland Paris. That was the cool thing to do. Turtle talk. All right, so now that my photos are adhered there, just sort of willy-nilly all over the place, which is okay to do every now and then. I'm not a huge fan of doing that every time, but now and then it's okay. I have these couple of cute little turtles from my Hawaiian book that I sort of saved. I have a few more for when we actually encounter the turtles. I've got a couple of cute journal boxes. Which I could add. Maybe sneak underneath there. We'll have these little turtles. Oh, wrong kind of adhesive. I know, you were screaming at me, don't do it, right? Okay, we're gonna put a couple of foam squares on these guys just to kind of pop them up a bit. Stick them right there. Uh-oh. Let's see. I think we will say we're having a blast underneath these balloons. Best day ever. I'm not the best with creating these little let's see. We're going to put a cluster You've got a kind of a cluster going down here. We got this up here. I think we'll do like this. We'll just call this good. All right. Okay, how does that look? What do you think? We'll put a title right in here, so that's why I left that blank. And you'll have to stay tuned for the titles because those won't be done until the album is finished. So we've got our journal box there, and a journal box here. All right, I believe we are done. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Make sure that you have liked and subscribed my channel so that you don't miss any more, any other videos from me. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.